So there's a lot of games on Roblox, right? But there's also a genre of games on Roblox called FPS games, first person shooters. Now, if you've been a viewer of my channel for a while, you know that I play mainly one FPS game out of all the others, and that game is Arsenal. So I'm going to try and make this as unbiased as possible. And I also want to test out some games. I haven't played a whole lot of the other FPS games, so I don't know all the updates and all this other stuff. So I'm going to go into each game one by one and play and get some new knowledge of each of the games. Now, I do want to go ahead and say this, that everyone has a different play style. Some people like to play slower, more strategical. Some people just like to go run and gun, basically, where you're constantly in like battle, you're aggressive, all the other stuff. So these games aren't going to match everyone's play style, but I'm going to highlight the pros and cons, or like I'm going to highlight the gameplay styles for each of these games, so you can choose what is like the best one for you. I'm also going to say which game I prefer the most out of all the games that are more popular on Roblox through the FPS category. Now, I know there's some games that are hidden and not a lot of people know about those games, and I would like to play those, but obviously I don't really know them as well. So there's probably some hidden gems in here that I don't even know about, that maybe y'all know about. So if you guys have any games that I don't cover in this video, make sure to leave them down in the comments so I can go check them out. So let's go ahead and get started with our first game here. All right, so Arsenal. This has been a game that I have played for a long time, and I'm also more part of this community than the others. So I'm going to know a bit more about what the community says about this game than the other games. Again, I'm going to try and make this as unbiased as I can. One of the things about this game and the community is there's a lot of people that are like, oh, this game is dead. There's no updates. It's boring. But I'd like to say something here. This game for the past, 2-3 years has always been the top FPS game in terms of statistics. I know statistics doesn't really mean a whole lot, but in terms of statistics, it has been and remained the top FPS game on the platform. Currently, right now, is sitting at 18,000 players. People are like, oh, it drops down to like 6K, 7K. What's your point? All the other games don't go past 7K. I've played all the other games, and this game consistently is remaining at the top of all the FPS games. And there's a reason for that. It's because it's fun, and a lot of people enjoy this game. This game, for me, is one of the most fun games that I have played. There's a reason why I've played this for 3 years, and that is because of how the game is designed, the gameplay, and just the replayability of the game for me. Now, this game is one of the least grindy games in terms of like rewards you get for playing the game the most. That is a downside of this. So you don't really get rewarded too much, but it makes up for it in the actual gameplay of the game itself. This game is very action-packed. Immediately spawn in and you're automatically already there with enemies. It's a very satisfying game. You can get headshots pretty easily, and it's very simple to understand. It's a very simple game. It's not too complicated, and I'll get into that in the next games that I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. One of the things I do like about this game is that you can choose whatever game mode. If you start liking a certain game mode, like for most of us it's legacy competitive, like in this game, you can go and join servers that are strictly just legacy competitive. You have the opportunity to just leave the server you're in and join another server that's legacy competitive. This one, for some reason, it's just like the replayability for me is so good. I don't know why, but I can just hop in this and play it for a solid 30-45 minutes and I'll be happy. It's just a very satisfying game. You can get combos, all this other stuff. Like you can go from one person to another person to another person, just like that. So again, this game is very action-packed, and it's not a lot of strategy that goes into this game. There is strategy, but it's not as much as a lot of the other games that we're going to cover. This game is also a gun game, so you're constantly switching weapons. You're not stuck with just one weapon. There's no pay-to-win aspects with this game. You're constantly getting new weapons, and every single weapon is the same as another one. The only thing that changes is the gun skin, which obviously that doesn't change with how the gun performs. All the guns perform the exact same, and no one has an advantage because of their weapon over someone else. There's a ton of maps that go into this game as well, and there's a whole bunch of different like melees and stuff like that are really cool. Now, the problem with this game, it doesn't really update that much. The devs are working on like a huge update. Like, it's not one big update. They're going to roll them out within hopefully this year. But the updates are very kind of infrequent. But again, like I said, there's going to be some huge updates. They've leaked a lot of stuff that's coming out that I'm really excited for. And the community is also really excited for. That should hopefully be coming out later this year or going into next year as well. So be on the lookout for that. And overall, Arsenal for me is an 8 out of 10 game. I love it, and I constantly come back to it, and I think you guys should try it out. Again, the game might not be for everyone because, you know, you don't really upgrade weapons or anything like that. You don't really upgrade much. And it's very aggressive playstyle. You're constantly into action. There's really not much strategy. You just kind of run and gun, and that's about it. Okay, so they have had an update on Phantom Forces. I haven't seen this screen before. An OG FPS game. This was the first FPS game I ever played on Roblox. This game is kind of pay to win. There is pay to win options in this game. You can unlock attachments with like a currency, which you can also buy that currency. So there is pay to win aspects within this game, which is unfortunate and kind of draws me away from the game because of that. Because as a newer player, like someone who doesn't have a whole lot of things unlocked, it is a lot harder to get started in the game and, you know, kind of enjoy it. There, you still can get quite a bit of kills, and it's not like insanely OP things, I would say. Paying to win is definitely very helpful and helps you get a lot more kills and all that other stuff, but nothing's like insanely OP to where it's just like completely game breaking, I don't think, or I haven't seen it yet. This game is also more of the strategical game. It is kind of fast paced, but it is probably the slowest of the games I'm going to review today because, you know, does take a little bit longer to go from spawn to finding people. You do have this neat little thing where you can spawn on a teammate where you can, if a teammate's already there or like already getting closer to where the action is going to be, you can spawn on them and you can spawn just basically right behind them, and then you'll be right in the action there, which is kind of cool. But sometimes it can be a little frustrating, I will say, because they'll just randomly get into combat or you can't find anyone, so you're just kind of wasting time trying to find someone to spawn on and there's no one there. But it is what it is. This game is very grindy. They do have like a CSGO type case opening thing that they do. Well, I didn't get anything at all from that. That's cool. Also, grinding, you can unlock like things for weapons, such as attachments and customizations for weapons based off of using that weapon. So like say you have a M4A1 or just like an M4 basically. You use that a while, you level up the gun like level 10. You've unlocked a few attachments by that time, which will make the gun a little bit better and more suitable towards your play style. That's something that I really like about this game. But like I said, people who are more experienced, they have a lot of the attachments and they've already found the way to basically be able to fit their perfect playstyle and their perfect weapon. And it's really hard to kill them at some points. This game actually kind of grew on me a little bit after playing it. I kind of really enjoyed playing it. I was doing pretty good actually for not playing this in a while. It's basically a cartoon version of Call of Duty. And yeah, I mean, I do think it's really fun. It's going to go below Arsenal, but like I said, if this matches your playstyle, go for it. This game has a lot of good features and is really fun. So go check it out. Okay, so Bad Business. This was the first game I actually played when I first started creating content. Not the first FPS game I played, but the first game I played whenever I started creating content. I barely ever play this game, but I played it today and nothing has changed in terms of playstyle and how I feel about the game. The game has changed quite a bit, and it's definitely got some really good like additions, and I could see that it's a really well built game, and I think people should go and check it out as well. If you're a movement player, if you're not a movement player and you don't even know what that means, you're gonna struggle a lot with this game. This game is very movement based, meaning people are moving around very, very fast. People are climbing up things. People are doing all this other stuff, sliding around everywhere. It's very chaotic to an extent, and it can be really frustrating, and it really frustrates me, and that's why I don't really play it, because everyone's just like running around, and it's really hard to even like use a gun unless you're really close to someone. If you're not really close to someone, then using a gun is basically pointless. However, this game does have a lot of good things with it. The skins are also really cool. And like I said, the game overall is just built really, really well. There's a lot of customization features. There's a shop that you can see every single day that I think changes every single day as well. And there's a whole bunch of different game modes. You're not stuck with one game mode. Just like all the other games we've covered so far, there's multiple game modes. It's not just one game mode the entire time. This is also one of those games that will take a lot of time in order to get good at, because you have to get used to the controls, how the guns work, and so on and so forth. So this game can be very frustrating to a newer player. Now, one thing I had a complaint about a long time ago was how hard it was to level up in this game. Leveling up took a lot of time just to get somewhere in the game, which I don't know if that's still the case. I only played a few rounds here, so I wasn't really paying attention too much to my levels, but it was really, really hard to level up in this game. And it, you know, you had to grind a whole lot just to get some attachment, or just to be able to level up in general. And you also barely get what's called CR, or I guess is what is just the shortened term of credits. It can be very hard to get credits in this game as well. And therefore limiting the ability to get new like customization options for your character card, your calling card, or your character itself, or your guns. It can be quite hard to do that because of how small the awards are for playing this. You've got to grind a lot in this game in order to get customizations. This is also somewhat of a pay-to-win game. I don't think it's as pay-to-win as Phantom Forces is. You can use credits to get attachments, and you can also buy tokens in order to get more XP per round. I could just be misinterpreting how that works entirely, but there are options in order to use your credits and stuff like that in order to get attachments and so on and so forth, which is sort of pay to win. But yeah, this game all around to me, not really the biggest source of enjoyment for me, just because you have to be a movement player, which is someone who just loves to like slide around, move fast, and climb all over things. If you're like that, this game is for you. It's very fast paced. Like, your character's moving really fast, and you basically just got to rely on your movement in this game. If that's for you, then this game will be perfect for you as well. But it's not really for me, and I'm gonna put this below Phantom Forces in terms of, you know, what game I would prefer to play and what is the best overall game for me and what I think most people would prefer. But everyone's different, so don't use this as like your source of, oh, this game is bad. It's not a bad game. It's just doesn't fit my style exactly. And now for probably one of the most insane FPS games on Roblox, Frontlines. This game, as you can see, doesn't look like Roblox at all. This game has been covered ever since it came out. It's been covered tremendously across YouTube. This game is really fun. It's basically Call of Duty on Roblox. It's free Call of Duty. You get the attachments. I mean, look at it. It's great, and it's a really fun game. I don't play it as much because, once again, it's more of like the slower sort of pace. It's still a very fast-paced game, but it's not as like fast as like Arsenal, and it's not as like simplistic. It's a little bit harder to see some enemies, but that's just part of the game. And it's definitely a really fun FPS game. If you want to get into some FPS games on Roblox, this game is definitely a great game to play. It's really fun. The games last longer. Like an Arsenal, games last around probably like 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, depending on who's in the server. Here, the games last pretty long, and it's just all around a fun experience. This is another game that has a bunch of attachments you can equip to your gun to make it better, like reducing recoil and adding like a flashlight or a laser, getting different scopes and stuff for your weapons. So you do have that customization ability as you level up your weapons. So that is a really good feature of this game. Now, there's not too many maps on this game. There's probably like, I think, 5 or 6 maps. So you're constantly kind of playing the same maps over and over and over again. But it doesn't really matter that much to me. I mean, there's a little bit of like, I wish there was more than just the same maps, but it's not like a big like downside to me. It's like, you just kind of learn the maps. Everyone should go try it out. This game is going to go above Bad Business, and I'm going to put it above Phantom Forces as well. So this is going to be basically the second best game for me on Roblox. But if you want a very realistic looking game, it's really well built, and you want basically a Call of Duty experience on Roblox, this is your game. And there's also a bunch of different game modes. It's not just one game mode. There are multiple game modes in here, so you're not just constantly doing the same exact thing. You'll have objectives each round. It'll be different objectives, such as kill confirmed, or like game like hard point. Not really a hard point, but there's domination. That's what I meant to say, is domination. So there's like different flags you have to capture, all that other stuff. So there are some fun game modes in here, and I'm pretty sure they're still adding a whole bunch of new stuff to this game, because it did just come out like late last year. So it's still kind of improving and getting new additional content into the game. And now for probably one of the most slept on games on Roblox. Aimblocks is basically Arsenal, but with a lot more features. Now, like I said, I don't really play this game that much, but every time I play it, I really enjoy it and I want to come back to playing it. I eventually stop playing it and I just kind of go back to Arsenal, but I don't really have a definitive reason as to why I do that. This game sits around like 1.5k to 2,000 players, so it's not as big as some of the other ones here, but it provides a lot of fun things. It's not only just like a game, like a gun game or like constant multiplayer. There's also an aim lobby, so you can practice your aim and so on and so forth. I'm pretty sure this comes from Aim Labs, but they made a game under Roblox, which is now why Aimblocks exists. So you have aim trainers, you got missions, you can unlock different weapons, you can unlock a whole bunch of different things. And you've also got you got two areas here. You can go to arcade mode or you can go to competitive mode. Competitive mode, you use your own guns. It's domination and team deathmatch, and you're basically using all your weapons and your attachments and everything that you've unlocked for your weapon against other players. While arcade is more just like gun game, a game called Space Snipers, where you have snipers, we have low gravity, so you're like flying up in the air and you got a sniper and you can snipe people from across the map. And there's a whole bunch of fun game modes there where you're not relying on your own weapons to do something here. So if you don't really like competitive, you don't want to use your own weapons, but you want to use like the weapons that everyone else has, arcade is probably more of the fun stuff you can do. Again, really smooth gameplay, really fun. I don't really have anything bad to say about the game besides it's a little bit more confusing. I think there's just a lot of stuff kind of thrown at you and it kind of overwhelms the player, because you're getting gun skins thrown at you, you're getting character skins thrown at you, you're getting this arcade or competitive mode thrown at you, you're getting this aim trainer thrown at you as well. And there's also like a case gambling thing where you can open up a case and see what weapon you get out of it. So there is that, but overall this game is really fun. There's a lot of things you can do with it. You're not just kind of stuck to one or two things. You got multiple things to go to. I don't know why this game doesn't have as many players as some of the other games, but this game is heavily slept on, and I think everyone should go and try this game out if you like a cartoony, simple FPS game with, again, with attachments, gun skins, just a whole bunch of different game modes that you can play on as well. Like I said, I have a whole bunch of fun playing this game whenever I play it, and I don't regret ever coming to this game whenever I do. I just, for some reason, just go more towards Arsenal, mainly because that's like the game that I've played for so long. I'm more like loyal to it than I am to Aimblocks. But yeah, I highly recommend you guys go and check this game out if you guys have not already. It is really fun, and it basically suits. It's basically just fast-paced. It's not as fast-paced as Arsenal. The maps are a little bit bigger, and it's not as fast-paced, but it can, because there's like free-for-all game modes, and those are really hectic. But yeah, that's all I really got to say about this game. Go ahead and try it out and let me know what you guys think. So for me, this game is, I'm going to say it's going to be tied with Arsenal. Like it's got all the stuff that Arsenal has basically, plus a little bit more. Anyways, I hope this video helped you guys out in some way to choose like an FPS game or show you another game that you may not have heard of before, to give you something else to spend your time on or play if you haven't already. And yeah, thank you guys again for watching this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I hope I didn't make y'all too upset by ranking your game below another game, but hey man, opinions, they exist. Deal with it. See you guys in the next video. Make sure to subscribe because that's very cool. And yeah, have a good one.